In a moonlit forest, a winged beast swoops down on its monstrous prey. A razor-sharp limb slices through the air aimed for a decisive blow. The victor stands poised and menacing over its fallen foe, but a new challenger with blazing fists suddenly interrupts the dark creature's triumph. A team of elite warriors strikes a pose, having vanquished the formidable beast. Their heroic feat is broadcast live, earning the adoration of a cheering crowd. Meanwhile, a man in a lab coat observes with satisfaction, pleased with the outcome. This entire spectacle is revealed to be part of a massive immersive game unlike any other. Its world is built upon a real-world event from 20 years ago when mysterious portals appeared. These gateways lead to dangerous realms but were believed to be safely contained from reality. These portals are a one-way street. Nothing from the other side, not even the powers gained, can ever return to reality. Seizing the opportunity, the Xinzhuang technology company transformed this phenomenon into the world's most popular game, Apocalypse Survival. Once inside, players are reborn as warriors, forced to fight for their very existence in a brutal new world. The thrill of real danger draws in millions, offering a spectacular escape from their mundane lives. The game has become so ingrained in society that the wealthy now hire proxies to live out their fantasy lives for them. And a man named Lin Qian proudly claims to be one of the masterminds behind this grand immersive masterpiece. Back in the real world, someone with expensive shoes makes an assertive entrance into the company headquarters. An executive storms through the office, parting the crowd with a look of pure fury. He confronts Lin Qian directly, accusing him of tampering with the mantis monster's data from the earlier broadcast. This is Liu Daolong, a top executive and powerful in-game warrior who demands to know who authorized such a reckless change. Lin Qian calmly explains he acted to preserve game balance, fearing the world was becoming uncontrollable. His explanation only enrages the executive whose hand clenches into a tight fist. Liu Daolong grabs Lin Qian by the collar, reminding him his only job is to follow company orders. Unfazed, Lin Qian pushes the hand away, asserting his authority as the head of all game content. The executive's eyes narrow with a dangerous glint, his patience completely gone. He explodes with fury, demanding the changes be reverted while the entire office watches in shock. The surrounding staff are caught in the crossfire, frustrated by the escalating power struggle. Liu Daolong delivers a final cold ultimatum: change the data back or resign. A cynical smile crosses Lin Qian's face as he realizes the company's priority isn't the game, but control. Just as he reaches a breaking point, a gentle hand reaches out, offering a moment of support. A female colleague steps in, her gentle touch a silent plea for him to not act rashly. Lin Qian recognizes the woman as Luo Yu, whose eyes are filled with genuine concern for his fate. He internally weighs his options, knowing that losing this job means facing a mountain of debt and a grim future. Yet a more dangerous question surfaces. Is staying with this corrupt company the real risk? Brushing past the fuming executive, Lin Qian coolly informs him he'll need time to consider the ultimatum. Liu Daolong sees delivering a final menacing warning about knowing one's place. Later on a park bench, Lin Qian thanks Luo Yu, claiming her advice has given him a new clarity. She humbly deflects his praise, but he insists her guidance was essential for his survival at the company. Luo Yu voices her fear, warning him of the company's rumored ruthlessness and the danger of his defiance. With unwavering determination, Lin Qian simply tells her not to worry, promising he will handle it. Relieved, Luo Yu smiles and tells him she's heading back to work, leaving him to his thoughts. Lin Qian reflects that she is the only person at the company he can truly trust. He sees her as a beacon of hope in his dark world, a person he is determined not to lose. He suddenly calls out her name, and she turns back startled by his urgent tone. Lin Qian delivers a cryptic warning, telling her that the company and the world are about to change drastically. Luo Yu listens intently, her expression filled with concern over his ominous words. With a clenched fist and fierce determination, he promises to protect her no matter what happens. She responds with a surprising and affectionate gesture, leaving him momentarily stunned. Waving goodbye, she expresses her complete faith in him, all while hiding a world-changing secret of her own. Her parting words trigger a chilling realization for Lin Qian, his gaze hardening with grim purpose. Lin Qian realizes he's cornered, knowing that leaving the company only makes him a more vulnerable target. Elsewhere, the company's elite executives convene for a clandestine meeting about the Xinzhuang project. A holographic figure reports that the in-game jungle is expanding ominously, hinting at a major event. Liu Daolong voices his suspicions, believing Lin Qian's defiance means he's discovered something he shouldn't have. A mysterious woman confirms their worst fears, revealing that Lin Qian already knows the secret of the jungle. Another executive declares the secret is too dangerous and orders Lin Qian's immediate elimination before he can act. The hologram reveals they deliberately trapped Lin Qian in debt and now commands Liu Daolong to handle the problem permanently. The command is chillingly simple: eliminate Lin Qian inside the jungle. Liu Daolong smirks with sinister satisfaction, having waited a long time for this very order. The scene cuts to the deadly jungle where lethal slashes of energy tear through the dense forest. A cloaked woman looms over a wounded Lin Qian, mocking him for using developer privileges to create his powerful gear. Liu Daolong reveals from the sidelines that Luoyue's concern for Lin Qian inadvertently led them straight to his location. Despite his injuries, Lin Qian smirks, showing he anticipated this ambush all along. His smile widens into a chilling grin, hinting that the tables are about to turn. In a shocking twist, the cloaked woman is suddenly struck down by an unseen assailant. The attacker is revealed to be none other than Luo Yu, leaving Lin Qian utterly stunned. He looks on in anguish, questioning why the one person he vowed to protect had to join the deadly conflict. A flashback reveals the company's official claim from a decade ago. The jungle was deemed safe and separate from reality. But the horrifying truth is that the jungle is expanding, destined to consume the entire planet within 10 years. Lin Qian recalls his true purpose as the architect meant to turn this apocalypse into a game, a secret he was never supposed to know. Lin Qian recalls anticipating the company's betrayal, preparing a counterattack that left his enemies defeated on the battlefield. But his plans went awry with a single devastating realization. The one person he trusted was about to betray him. Luo Yu coldly reveals that his entire life from his parents' fate to his crippling debt was a carefully constructed trap. She smirks, admitting his genius for game design made him the perfect pawn, and she was merely the final guarantee in their scheme. Leaning over the fallen Lin Qian, she mockingly praises his brilliance, savoring his complete and utter defeat. With dawning horror, he finally understands that she was the architect of his ruin all along. Liu Daolong interrupts, stating their mission was simply to eliminate him, a task that now seems to be handling itself. A cruel grin spreads across Liu Daolong's face as he relishes the perfect ironic end to Lin Qian's defiance. They decide to abandon him, letting the dark creatures of the forest finish the job. As they vanish through a portal, the very monsters Lin Qian created begin to swarm his helpless body. The monstrous horde descends upon Lin Qian, ready to devour him and end his story for good. But just as all hope seems lost, a critical system alert triggers in response to his imminent demise. The system successfully loads a new identity for him, the legendary Jungle Lord. He is reborn as an alienated mantis, gaining powerful new active and passive skills. A brilliant flash of energy erupts, instantly teleporting him away from the deadly swarm. From a new safe location, he confirms his escape, his plan having worked perfectly. His body transforms, his hand now a monstrous razor-sharp claw. He internally mocks the executives, revealing they mistook his powerful armor for his real trump card. A sinister grin spreads across his new face, knowing his true power has finally been unleashed. A flashback reveals researchers discovering an ancient tablet that foretold the existence of a supreme jungle lord. The ancient tablet reveals the jungle lord was a legendary entity so powerful it was feared by all races. A past briefing reveals the company knew that the powers of fallen masters could linger, creating a major threat. A younger Lin Qian had once vowed to find and neutralize this very danger to protect the game's integrity. His superiors, however, were more interested in reporting any discoveries about this power to the shareholders. In the present, Lin Qian embraces his new form, knowing he has seized the very power the company coveted. He now wields not only the might of the Jungle Lord, but also a system perfectly attuned to it. A new system alert issues his first mission, survive the hunt of the jungle monsters drawn to his presence. He senses the enemies closing in, aware that the creatures of the dark forest are notoriously deadly. Ferocious spectral wolves with flaming manes suddenly burst from the darkness, their eyes glowing with hunger. Spreading his iridescent wings, Lin Qian braces himself for the first battle in his new life. His new passive skill, Jungle Instinct, allows him to sense any malicious intent directed his way. The system identifies his attackers as low-level spectral wolves, creatures that rely on pack tactics. He smirks, confident that his new offensive skills are more than enough to handle these low-level threats. He activates his flash ability, moving with blinding speed to engage the wolf pack. His enhanced senses and incredible mobility work in perfect sync, turning him into a blur of motion. Combining his new powers with his deep knowledge of the jungle, he effortlessly outmaneuvers his foes. He cleverly lures one of the wolves into a hidden man-eater flower, a deadly environmental trap. Taking to the air, he swoops down from above, striking the distracted wolf with his razor-sharp claws. Surrounded by the remaining wolves, he declares that dispatching the entire pack will be no trouble at all. After the battle, he notes his depleted stamina, but celebrates a successful level up to level 3. Lin Qian stands victorious over the fallen wolves, feeling more at home in this brutal world than he ever did among humans. But he realizes the system hasn't declared the mission complete, sensing that the true threat is still lurking. His instincts scream a warning as a massive shadow falls over him from the darkness. A colossal flaming wolf, the pack's alpha, lunges from the shadows with terrifying fury. The The system confirms his fears, identifying the new foe as a level 6 spectral wolf lord. He curses his terrible luck, knowing the appearance of a lord-level monster here is a statistical impossibility. The immense power gap between them is palpable, pressing down on him with suffocating force. He narrowly dodges a fiery swipe, relying on pure instinct to evade the much stronger beast. The prolonged fight has drained his stamina, leaving him dangerously close to his physical limit. A devastating blow from the wolf lord sends him flying, leaving deep wounds across his chest. Lin Qian is floored, shocked by the wolf lord's blinding speed. The ferocious beast lunges forward, its flaming jaws wide open for the final blow. Its powerful jaws clamp down, pinning him as he struggles against its immense strength. Pinned and wounded, he questions if this is his end but finds the will to resist. His desire for revenge against the company that manipulated him fuels his defiance. His thoughts fixate on one person above all others, the woman who orchestrated his downfall, Luo Yu. A memory surfaces of a time when she questioned him about persistent errors within the game's code. He recalls explaining that the jungle wasn't a simple program. It was a living, evolving world. The irony hits him hard. The jungle's unpredictability is exactly what led to his current impossible predicament. With renewed determination, he resolves that survival is his only path to vengeance. He channels his burning rage, his mantis form bristling with defiant energy. The singular thought of revenge fuels his desperate struggle against the beast. The wolf lord unleashes a fiery projectile, determined to end the chase. Its eyes glow with a sinister light, activating a blood-tracking ability to hunt him down. Leaving a crimson trail, Lin Qian realizes is being relentlessly pursued with no hope of escape. He knows his usual tricks, environmental traps and flora, are useless against a lord-level monster. Cornered and out of options, he frantically scans his surroundings for any possible advantage. His eyes land on an unusually massive tree, sparking a sudden desperate idea. A flicker of hope ignites within him as he realizes this tree might be his only way out. He soars into the air, putting distance between himself and the beast as he races towards his newfound objective. He sinks his claws into the colossal tree, beginning the next phase of his desperate gambit. A pained grin crosses his face as he uses all his strength to provoke the ancient tree. Perched high above, he successfully baits the wolf lord into the domain of another, even greater threat. His plan works perfectly, awakening the true lord of this area, a level 7 stalagmite bear. Beating his wings, he quickly puts distance between himself and the impending clash of titans. From a safe distance, he observes his handiwork, a calculated risk that has bought him precious time. Below him, the two apex predators collide, shaking the very foundations of the forest. Seeing the brutal fight unfold, he prepares to make his escape while the lords are occupied. But his escape is cut short by an urgent system alert, a glaring warning he can't ignore. The system reminds him of his mission to survive the hunt, forcing him to question if fleeing now would count as a failure. He realizes the bear isn't his target, so he simply needs to wait for it to eliminate the wolf lord. He confidently predicts the higher-level bear will make short work of his original pursuer. A system alert confirms mission success, rewarding him with 1,000 jungle points and unlocking his skill panel. Just as he planned, the mission concludes the moment the fearsome bear defeats the wolf lord. With his first objective cleared, he takes a moment to process his victory and the new system rewards. The newly activated skill panel reveals a host of abilities he can now purchase, including a high-risk, high-reward advanced skill. But his victory is cut short as the enraged bear turns its attention to him, forcing a hasty retreat. He knows he's no match for the level 7 beast and focuses all his energy on escaping its wrath. Pushing his new body to its limits, he becomes a blur of motion, zipping through the dense jungle. The bear's massive claws swipe through the air, narrowly missing him as he makes his desperate getaway. He clings desperately to a tree, realizing the enraged bear has no intention of letting him escape. He knows that a single hit from the bear's stalagmite attacks would mean instant annihilation. With no other choice, he frantically scans his skill panel, searching for any possible way out. He analyzes the bear's formidable defenses, knowing he only has enough points for 2 skills at most. Even his flight ability is useless as the bear could easily swat him out of the sky. The colossal beast smashes into the tree, its raw power shattering his temporary refuge. As his stamina plummets, he realizes that running is no longer an option. In a final desperate gamble, he spends his points to learn the high-risk skill, Monster Will. Empowered by his newfound ability, he turns to confront the beast head-on under the pale moonlight. He unleashes a blindingly fast counterattack, striking the bear with his razor-sharp claw. He unleashes a relentless barrage of strikes moving faster than the eye can see. The colossal beast falls and Lin Qian believes the immediate threat is finally neutralized. But his victory is short-lived as a strange overwhelming energy begins to surge through his body. He clutches his head in agony, realizing the true nature of the power he just unlocked. The monster will he absorbed was not just power, but the lingering consciousness of the original jungle lord. Meanwhile, back at the Xinjiang headquarters, the executives are completely unaware of his transformation. Liu Daolong confidently reports Lin Qian's elimination, officially promoting Luo Yu to his former position. The executives then turn their attention to a more pressing matter, the legendary Jungle Lord. An executive explains that these masters' powers don't disappear upon death but linger on. She reveals this power seeks a new host, but the successor risks being consumed by the original monster's consciousness. The executive confirms this lingering power is an extremely dangerous force. Without a will strong enough to dominate it, any successor would be consumed by the very power they inherit. Yet the board agrees the high risk is worth the reward, greenlighting the project to harness it. Watching the briefing, Luo Yu vows to be the one to secure this power for the company. Back in the jungle, Lin Qian identifies the invading force as the original Jungle Lord's consciousness. He digs his claws into the earth, desperately trying to ground himself against the mental onslaught. He understands that if he fails this battle of wills, he'll become a mindless killing machine. Fueled by his desire for revenge, he refuses to surrender his mind to the ancient entity. The spectral form of the original Jungle Lord looms over him, attempting to crush his consciousness. In the battlefield of his mind, Lin Qian faces the colossal will of the beast in a final desperate stand. A brilliant helix of energy erupts from the forest floor, piercing the night sky. The energy culminates in a massive ground-shaking explosion that ripples through the trees. As the blinding light and smoke begin to clear, the aftermath of the powerful release is revealed. Lin Qian stands victorious, having successfully purged the foreign consciousness, but notes the immense spiritual toll of the skill. He reflects on his new evolutionary form, a perfect fusion of monster power and human will. His thoughts turn to the future, realizing he must now find the Helen Butterfly Elf program to continue his evolution. He recalls the Butterfly Elves, a race of light-based fairies known for their powerful support abilities. A flashback reveals an executive once dismissed the Butterfly Elves as a weak race not worth the danger of entering their territory. The memory continues, showing a younger Lin Qian arguing that the game needed a guide NPC, and the elf was the perfect choice. The argument was settled by a superior who confirmed that as the game's director, Lin Qian's decisions were final. The flashback continues with a superior telling Liu Daolong he can delegate the Butterfly Elf mission if he's not interested. Liu Daolong smirks, happily passing the mission to a subordinate named Lu Fang. In the present, Lin Qian knows a contract with a Butterfly Elf is the key to perfecting his monster will. He recalls his original plan to use company resources, but now the mission to find the elves belongs to that same subordinate. He realizes Liu Daolong's arrogance was a blessing, leaving the Butterfly Elves undiscovered. He recalls one of his would-be assassins was from that very team, a score he intends to settle. To prepare for that confrontation, he must first unlock more skills by completing his new main mission, Guard the Jungle. The mission details his duties as the Jungle Lord, offering daily tasks and a major reward for overall completion, the coveted monster mode. He observes that while the side quests are simple, their rewards are trivial and hardly worth the effort. However, his attention is captured by the ultimate prize for completing the main quest, the intriguing monster mode. Lin Qian decides his first priority is to grind daily missions and unlock some crucial survival skills. His first task involves helping a mushroom clan with construction, earning him a strange reward and 50 jungle points. Next, he finds himself in a spider's lair, fending off the advances of a spider monster to complete another mission. He then endures a chaotic ordeal protecting a nest of eggs from a venomous snake while being pecked by the hatchlings. Exhausted but successful, he finally accumulates 700 points, enough to purchase a new ability. As he weighs his options between poison, stealth, and flight, his decision is interrupted by a new mission alert. His expression sharpens as the details of the urgent new quest flash before his eyes. The system issues a new side mission, hunt down 10 human intruders to prove his resolve as the Jungle Lord. He immediately understands the chilling implication. The system is ordering him to hunt other players. A sinister smile spreads across his face as he fully embraces his new path, ready to abandon his humanity for power. Deep within the jungle, a team of human players ventures into the treacherous territory of the Butterfly Elves. They easily dispatch a lone goblin guard, their confidence growing with each victory. The team's leader scoffs at the rumors, believing the path to the elves' inner sanctum will be a simple one. He grins with greed, already dreaming of the legendary treasures hidden within the Fern Tree realm. The realm itself is a breathtaking ethereal forest, glowing with an otherworldly light. Lured by promises of a huge reward, the players believe they've stumbled upon an easy score, underestimating the local inhabitants. But their overconfidence is shattered by a single lightning-fast projectile from an unseen assailant. The leader falls in an instant, his companions frozen in shock as their easy mission turns deadly. From the cliffs above, the true guardians of the valley reveal themselves, a horde of goblin archers. The players are suddenly surrounded, realizing with terror that they've walked straight into a well-laid trap. The players cry out in alarm, realizing they've been ambushed by a horde of goblins. A relentless tide of monsters swarms down the canyon intent on overwhelming the intruders. The goblins quickly overrun the unprepared adventurers, turning the canyon into a scene of chaos. Suddenly, a powerful mage unleashes a massive ring of fire engulfing the entire battlefield. The fiery spell catches the goblins completely by surprise, incinerating them in a devastating blast. From a safe vantage point, the true masterminds of the ambush step out of the shadows. This elite team led by a berserker named Lu Fang reveals they used the other players as bait. Lu Fang smirks, ordering his archer to finish off the remaining monsters. The archer calmly draws his bow, preparing to unleash a specialized attack. A volley of splintering arrows rains from the sky, set to annihilate everything below. Lu Fang's team effortlessly clears the remaining goblins, their power overwhelming the chaotic battlefield. From a distance, Lin Qian observes their ruthless strategy, noting their use of other players as disposable bait. He considers using his stealth abilities to hunt humans in towns, but realizes his monstrous form makes that impossible. Besides, he reflects that attacking random innocent people isn't his style. But these intruders are different. He recognizes them as the ruthless second team, the very people sent to find the elves. A memory flashes of the internal outrage over the team's willingness to sacrifice their own colleagues for personal gain. In a flashback, a superior coldly dismisses the casualties as an unfortunate but acceptable part of the mission. The memory continues with a colleague confronting Liu Daolong for knowingly recruiting a team of criminals. Liu Daolong arrogantly brushes off the concern, telling the man to stick to coding and leave the real work to others. In the present, Lin Qian's resolve hardens. He feels no remorse hunting these thugs, especially since they helped ambush him. He assesses his targets, noting their leader is a level 15 berserker, creating a significant power gap. The rest of their team are all ruthless level 10 criminals who kill without a second thought. Despite his rapid leveling, he's only at level 10 and feels apprehensive about confronting such a powerful group. Fortunately, his previous missions unlocked a stealth function, allowing him to plan a careful hidden approach. He also recalls a strange mushroom he received as a reward, sensing it might be more useful than it seems. He summons the mushroom, which reveals itself to be a living creature ready for action. Meanwhile, Lu Fang's team sends a spiritual pet to scout the foggy valley below. The pet's owner reports that the dense fog is obscuring 70% of the area, making reconnaissance impossible. Lu Fang coldly orders her to send the pet into the fog, ignoring her warning that it will be in danger. He menacingly reminds her that her only value is her ability to scout, and failure is not an option. From the fog, a razor-sharp projectile shoots out with blinding speed. The spiritual pet is struck down mid-flight, its glowing form pierced by the unseen attack. The pet's owner collapses, coughing up blood as the damage is psychically transferred to her. Lu Fang glares down at her, coldly questioning if her reconnaissance mission was a failure. Despite her injuries, she insists she saw the valley's layout in the final moments before her pet fell. With the information secured, Lu Fang rallies his team, pointing his axe towards the valley entrance. As they enter, they find the path covered in a strange, lumpy brown substance, questioning the route. The team recoils in disgust, covering their faces and wondering if they are walking through monster waste. The scout insists the path was clean moments ago, confused by the sudden appearance of the foul substance. One member suggests this is a deliberate trap, arguing that the obvious path is likely safer than any alternative. Unfazed by the potential trap, Lu Fang arrogantly orders his team to clear the path forward. From his hiding spot, Lin Qian observes them advance, questioning if his initial trap was too obvious. He decides to take it slow, calmly switching to plan B with his mushroom companion ready. He recalls the unassuming Mushroom Clan, a seemingly harmless race with surprisingly useful abilities. Their unique growth skill allows them to travel underground, making them perfect for scouting the valley's terrain. To gain their trust, he had to endure a feast of their unique cuisine, earning him their loyalty. He reveals the source of the foul path, a stinky mushroom, one of many specialized types he befriended. With his preparations complete, a sinister grin spreads across his face as he declares the hunt has officially begun. He unleashes his secret weapon, excitement mushrooms that emit a pungent odor designed to drive monsters into a frenzy. The scent immediately attracts a pack of enraged beasts, their eyes glowing with a feral hunger in the darkness. Lu Fang's team finally pushes through the monster-infested path, believing the danger is over. But their relief turns to disbelief as they witness an unexpected sight ahead. The scout stares in horror, unable to comprehend what's happening in this supposedly safe area. A pack of frenzied flame-wreathed wolves suddenly lunges from the darkness. The team initially scoffs, dismissing the beasts as low-level fodder they can easily handle. Their arrogance quickly fades as they realize they are completely surrounded by a horde of monsters. The enraged beasts charge forward in a blur of motion, their numbers overwhelming. Lu Fang grimly realizes this isn't a random attack. Someone is manipulating the monsters against them. The team's discipline shatters as they descend into a panicked, desperate retreat. The once mighty adventurers are swiftly overrun, their carefully laid plans collapsing into chaos. The excitement mushroom unleashes a cloud of potent spores enveloping the battlefield. The spore's effect is immediate, causing the frenzied monsters to turn on one another in a chaotic brawl. Just as quickly as they appeared, the monsters vanish, leaving the team to believe they've been saved. Their relief is short-lived as a menacing figure emerges from the mist, its presence chillingly familiar to the stunned mercenaries. The mist parts to reveal a figure in sleek white armor, a glowing blue orb materializing in its hands. The team recognizes him as Lin Qian, the very man they were sent to eliminate, now transformed into a monster. Overcome with terror, one of the mercenaries desperately tries to pass the blame onto the company. Lin Qian coolly considers their plea, unmoved by their claim that it was just a job. Mistaking Lin Qian's contemplation for weakness, Lu Fang sees an opening and signals his team to attack. With a unified battle cry, the mercenaries charge forward, launching a desperate assault on their former target. Lin Qian coolly informs them that what was once a job for them, he becomes a whirlwind of retribution, effortlessly dismantling the charging mercenaries, has now become a personal grudge he intends to settle, a smirk playing on his lips. The system confirms his success, rewarding him with 400 points and a level up as he reflects on his lack of remorse. He fully accepts his new nature, admitting he no longer feels any connection to the human race. Checking his rewards, he calculates is now just 100 points shy of unlocking a crucial flight ability. He gives his mushroom companion a nod of approval for its clever work in weakening the enemy. With the grunts dealt with, he sets his sights on a more challenging target in the dark stone forest. He initiates Plan C, a classic strategy designed to pit his remaining enemies against each other. His next destination is the ominous dark stone forest, a land of jagged crystalline peaks. Inside the dark stone forest, a goblin scout rushes to deliver an urgent report to its general. The scout reveals that human intruders have breached their territory, targeting the Helen Butterfly clan. Enraged by the news, the goblin general seizes the trembling scout, his patience worn thin. He declares that the intruders must not reach the sacred eucalyptus tree as the king's plan is not yet complete. With a furious battle cry, he rallies his goblin warriors to hunt down and eliminate the invaders. Meanwhile, Lu Fang furiously blames his team scout for their recent losses, questioning her competence. The distraught scout insists her map was accurate, arguing that the monsters must have deliberately ambushed them. Unmoved by the pleas, Lu Fang coldly declares that failure has a price and raises his axe to deliver a final judgment. However, a female mage intervenes, pleading for her younger brother's life and asking for mercy. Lu Fang reluctantly agrees, sparing the scout only because of his sister's value to the team. Lu Fang calls for the team to make camp, while his subordinates grumble about his poor leadership. The mage, Sarah, cozies up to Lu Fang, silencing the dissenters with her blatant display of loyalty. Meanwhile, her former partner, the archer Qingji, sits alone, seething in quiet resentment. His face contorts with rage, unable to act on the betrayal he just witnessed. From a high vantage point, Lin Qian recalls their personnel files, confirming the love triangle unfolding below. He also remembers that the archer is a wanted criminal using the jungle as a hideout. A flashback illustrates how the jungle became a lawless refuge for outcasts after the company abandoned it. Lin Qian scoffs at the archer's weakness, finding it pathetic that he'd endure such humiliation for survival. Seeing the archer secretly poison an arrowhead, Lin Qian decides to exploit this internal conflict for his own gain. Under the pale moonlight, the jagged peaks of the dark stone forest promise a night of betrayal and bloodshed. The mercenaries mock their leader's private activities in the tent, their laughter echoing around the campfire. They crudely joke about the couple, completely oblivious to the real danger lurking nearby. Unseen by the others, the spurned archer is tormented by visions, amplified by Lin Qian's mushroom companions. The psychedelic spores twist his mind, forcing him to relive his most painful memories in a vivid nightmare. His hallucination conjures a painful image of his former partner's betrayal with their new leader. The vision intensifies, twisting the knife of betrayal deeper into his already fractured psyche. Lin Qian's plan is revealed. A sound mushroom to amplify noises and a psychedelic mushroom to create powerful illusions. Pushed to his breaking point, the archer rises, his mind now set on a single vengeful purpose. Lin Qian knows these mushrooms can manipulate minds, pushing people to act on their darkest hidden impulses. As the internal conflict brews, he spots the approaching goblin army, adding another layer of chaos to his trap. The goblin general complains about his troops' slow pace, eager to confront the invaders. Lin Qian watches with a smirk, planning to let the goblins and mercenaries exhaust each other before he intervenes. A phantom voice goads the archer, pushing him to act on his simmering rage. His comrades question the archer, who stands paralyzed by the conflict between his vengeance and his fear. His distorted perception paints the tent with a murderous aura, fueling his paranoia. He struggles against the mental manipulation, his body crackling with uncontrolled energy. Terror floods his face as he realizes the fatal consequences of his dark impulses. Lin Qian is surprised to find the archer's spiritual power is strong enough to fight off the mushroom's effects. Inside, Lu Fang dismisses the threat, agreeing to tolerate the archer as long as he remains useful. Sarah traces a festering wound on Lu Fang's chest, revealing a persistent injury from a previous battle. Sarah recalls how Lu Fang saved her in a past battle, justifying her loyalty and contempt for her former cowardly partner. Lu Fang reflects on Lin Qian's terrifying combat skills, a unique fusion of a warrior, mage, and assassin. He now believes Lin Qian was merely feigning weakness at the company, recalling a brutal operation where only their team survived. He expresses relief at Lin Qian's supposed death, convinced he would have become an unstoppable foe. Lin Qian watches the archer flee, scoffing at his cowardice for abandoning his revenge out of fear. With his plan to turn the mercenaries on each other foiled, he decides to let the approaching goblin army handle them instead. He targets the lone archer on his display, realizing that recruiting the disgruntled outcast could be the key to success. The goblin army's assault begins as massive crystalline spikes erupt from the ground, catching the camp by surprise. Interrupted by the chaos, Lu Fang and Sarah are jolted from their private encounter, confused by the sudden attack. The camp descends into chaos as the goblin horde overruns the mercenaries who desperately fight for their lives. Lu Fang fights desperately, furious that their defensive wards failed to warn them of the attack. Unbeknownst to them, Lin Qian's mushroom allies had already dismantled the wards, stealing the power gems. He scoffs at the idea of goblins being smart enough to disable their traps, blinded by his own arrogance. The goblin general barrels through the chaos, eager to crush the human leader himself. He effortlessly overpowers one of the mercenaries, demonstrating his immense physical strength. The general's massive blade cuts through the battlefield, a blur of unstoppable force. For the first time, Lu Fang trembles, realizing he is no match for this monstrous opponent. The goblin general grins, preparing to deliver a final devastating strike. In a desperate bid for survival, Lu Fang screams for his archers to provide covering fire, but a panicked subordinate reports the horrifying truth. Their archer Cheng Ji has already fled. Lu Fang seethes with rage as his system confirms the archer's desertion, leaving him defenseless. The fleeing archer rationalizes his cowardice, convinced his old team's fate is not his concern. Looking back at the fiery chaos, he secretly hopes his former comrades are wiped out. But he soon realizes he's being watched, spotting a mysterious level 11 figure in the trees. The level 13 archer's instincts kick in, and he realizes with a jolt that is being hunted by a monster. He immediately bolts, sprinting through the disorienting forest to escape the new threat, but his sharp eyes catch a glimpse of his pursuer, giving him a target. Deciding to go on the offensive, he knocks a deadly explosive arrow. The arrow flies true, striking what he believes is his pursuer in the distance. His satisfaction vanishes as he realizes he's been tricked, having shot nothing but an empty cloak. Before the archer can react, Lin Qian appears behind him, delivering a lightning-fast strike. The archer grits his teeth, his survival instincts kicking in as he desperately tries to counter the surprise attack. He barely manages to block the blow with his bow, the sheer force of the impact staggering him. Lin Qian's glowing eyes narrow, realizing the archer's decoy was just a setup for a close-range ambush. With a powerful kick, Lin Qian sends the archer flying, effortlessly breaking their deadlock. The archer struggles to parry the relentless assault, finding himself completely outmatched in close combat. Unfurling his massive insectoid wings, Lin Qian reveals the full extent of his monstrous transformation. He lands with predatory grace, his new form exuding an aura of overwhelming power. Activating his stealth skill, Lin Qian's body dissolves into the shadows, crackling with blue energy. The archer stands alone in the silent clearing, frantically searching for the monster that just vanished before his eyes. The archer enchants an arrow with light, determined to force his mysterious opponent out of the shadows. He leaps into the air, firing a brilliant projectile designed to illuminate the entire area and reveal his foe. But the glowing arrow is stopped dead in its tracks, caught effortlessly by a single armored hand. Lin Qian emerges with a smirk, admitting his stealth was broken but dismissing the archer's chances of survival. The archer recoils in shock as a strange green vapor begins to rise from his body, a sign of a new threat. The source is revealed. Mist toxin mushrooms planted by Lin Qian, their poison activated by strenuous exercise. Weakened and trembling, the archer realizes he's been breathing in a debilitating poison this whole time. He considers using an antidote but hesitates, seeing a potential opportunity to exploit his poison state. Lin Qian is impressed by the archer's resilience but makes it clear he has no intention of fighting fair. At his command, another of his mushroom allies scurries forward, ready for the next phase of the plan. He reveals his next surprise, a pair of adorable yet deadly mushroom warriors. The archer is horrified to discover he's not just facing one monster, but an entire army of them. He cries out in utter disbelief, realizing the true absurdity of his situation. Before he can react, the mushroom horde bombards him with a relentless storm of toxic needles. The assault ends, leaving the archer completely immobilized in a pile of corrosive slime. With the target neutralized, Lin Qian gives an approving nod to his smug-looking mushroom ally. With their prey weakened and trapped, they decide it's time to end the fight for good. In a final act of defiance, the archer musters his strength to fire a desperate volley of arrows. Fueled by a surge of adrenaline and buffs, he screams a vow of vengeance at his monstrous foe. Lin Qian effortlessly dodges the attack, noting that the combination of toxins has severely impaired the archer's accuracy. Lin Qian calmly dismisses the attack, declaring it completely ineffective against his current form. The archer's eyes widen in terror as he finally recognizes his monstrous assailant. With a final decisive blow, Lin Qian ends the confrontation, sending his former colleague flying. He coldly bids his enemy farewell, his expression devoid of any pity. The system confirms the kill, rewarding him with a 100 points and a level up, bringing him closer to his goal. But his victory is cut short by an unexpected development on the ground. He realizes the defeated archer has activated a magic teleportation circle in a desperate bid to escape. Lin Qian quickly moves to cover the mark, attempting to interfere with the escape spell. Meanwhile, back at the camp, the battle rages on as the goblin assault continues to burn through their defenses. The goblin general unleashes his full power, determined to annihilate the remaining human intruders. A subordinate delivers grim news to Lu Fang. Their archer, Cheng Ji, has fallen in the chaos. Lu Fang cedes, realizing an unknown enemy used the goblin attack as cover to pick off his team member. Meanwhile, Sarah's defensive shield buckles under the goblin general's relentless assault. Just as their defenses crumble, a brilliant blue teleportation circle erupts from the ground beneath them. The entire mercenary team vanishes in a flash of light, leaving the goblin army to strike at empty air. The goblin general stands bewildered, his primary targets having disappeared without a trace. From his vantage point, Lin Qian realizes the archer's escape was a ruse to teleport the entire team to safety. But the teleportation was a trap as Lu Feng's team reappears behind Lin Qian, launching a surprise pincer attack. Lu Feng's confidence shatters as he comes face to face with the monstrous figure he now knows is hunting them. The scene highlights a crucial game mechanic. At the same level, monsters possess far greater power and size than human players. Lu Feng realizes that while humans hunt monsters with superior tactics, monsters hold a massive physical advantage at the same level. But now they face the unthinkable, a monster using human strategy to hunt them. The mercenaries stare in disbelief, unable to comprehend a monster with human-level intelligence. Lin Qian smirks, mockingly asking if Lu Feng remembers his face. The team's blood runs cold as they finally recognize him as the one who wiped out their other colleagues. Panic erupts through the ranks, but Lu Feng desperately tries to keep his terrified team in line. While Lu Feng dismisses Lin Qian as a mere level 12, Lin Qian weighs his options, hesitant to reveal his full mushroom army. He considers a risky power-up, knowing that while it could grant him victory, it might cost him his own mind. Lu Feng rallies his troops, vowing to finish the job he failed to complete before and ensure Lin Qian doesn't escape again. Lin Qian finds their posturing hilarious, laughing at their desperate attempt to challenge him. Lin Qian scoffs at their threat, reminding them that even 7 company teams couldn't take him down. His chilling words send a wave of terror through the mercenaries who realize his deadly intent. He looks down on them with utter contempt, his glowing eyes judging them as pathetic. One of the mercenaries charges forward, unleashing a powerful mountain-splitting skill in a desperate gambit. Unfazed, Lin Qian calmly activates a new skill from his system interface. The system confirms the unlock, granting him the long-awaited ability of flight. The mercenaries' attack slams into the ground where Lin Qian stood, kicking up a massive cloud of dust. For a fleeting moment, the team believes they've won, searching the dust for any sign of their foe. Their hope vanishes as they spot a figure rocketing into the sky from the center of the explosion. The system announces his mastery of flight as Lin Qian unfurls his magnificent glowing wings, now a true master of the air. Lin Qian hovers above, mockingly welcoming the human warriors to his domain. He promises them a swift end, his new form radiating an aura of death. Lu Feng orders a full-scale magical and ranged assault to bring the monster down. With incredible speed, Lin Qian weaves through the volley of attacks, finding their efforts laughable. The mage, Sarah, shouts a warning, preparing to unleash a powerful spell of her own. She unleashes a dazzling light array, a complex web of magic designed to trap her target. Lin Qian acknowledges her skill as the tracking magic homes in on him, impressed by her power. Yet he remains confident, judging the attack speed as something he can easily outmaneuver. Seeing an opening, Lu Feng leaps into the air, preparing a powerful downward strike with his axe. He swings his enchanted axe with all his might, aiming to cleave his airborne enemy in two. Lin Qian intercepts the axe midair, his armored body absorbing the full force of the blow. He's momentarily stunned by the sheer power of a level 15 warrior's attack, a trickle of blood marking his face. The mercenaries watch frustration as their target becomes a distant speck in the night sky. From afar, Lin Qian offers a defiant gesture, promising a final reckoning at their next encounter. Enraged by the taunt, Lu Fang furiously orders his team to hunt down the fleeing monster. The team's mage, Sarah, is completely drained, having exhausted her energy on the teleportation spell. Lu Fang's rage boils over as is reminded their only tracker, the archer, is already dead. Sarah reassures her leader, revealing she has a secret plan to locate their enemy. She explains her dazzling array has left a magical aura on Lin Qian, making him a trackable target. Unaware of the magical tracer, Lin Qian soars over the forest confident in his escape. Lin Qian strategizes his next move, knowing he must navigate a treacherous valley to reach his goal. He recalls that the entrance to the tree realm is a hidden altar under the eucalyptus tree, requiring immense magical energy to activate. He laments that his plan to pit the goblins against the mercenaries was foiled by Lu Fang's unexpectedly clever tracking spell. Though he escaped, he knows the returning goblin guards will make reaching the altar nearly impossible, especially since it's been marked. He considers how to turn the magical mark to his advantage, weighing the risk of Lu Fang reporting his survival. The scene shifts back to the dark crystalline forest where the mercenaries have regrouped. Lu Fang's team struggles to comprehend how Lin Qian, whom they believe dead, returned as a monstrous entity. Panic spreads as the mercenaries argue for abandoning the mission, terrified of facing their former target again. Lu Fang is deeply shaken, recalling his near-fatal encounter and debating whether to report this new threat to his superiors. He remembers a harsh lesson from his past. In the lawless jungle, survival is earned by proving one's strength. Lu Fang's eyes narrow with resolve. He decides against reporting this catastrophic failure to his superiors. Sarah tries to reason with him, explaining that with the company's help, they can use her tracking spell to hunt Lin down. But Lu Fang knows that since Lin Qian designed the game system, he understands every weakness, making this their only chance to strike. He rallies his team, warning that failure to kill Lin Qian now will mean exile from the jungle and the wrath of their leader. Lu Fang finally connects the dots, realizing Lin Qian's true objective is the eucalyptus tree and vows to intercept him at the altar. Both hunter and hunted are now locked in a deadly race, each determined to eliminate the other in the jungle. A few days later, a strategic map shows Lu Fang's team and another unknown party closing in on the eucalyptus tree realm. His mercenaries work quickly, setting up a large crystal to establish a powerful magical formation. Sarah channels her energy into the array, weaving a complex spell as the team stands guard. With the final crystal node in place, she announces their plan to erect a barrier is ready to proceed. Sarah unleashes her full power, activating the massive magical formation. Beams of pure energy erupt upwards, creating the foundation for their magical prison. A massive shimmering blue dome materializes, sealing off the entire area around the eucalyptus tree. She confidently explains the barrier will trap Lin Qian, but worries as her tracking mark on him begins to fade. Lu Fang dismisses her concerns, convinced that Lin Qian is weakened and poses little threat once found. He declares that with both Lin Qian and his objective trapped inside the barrier, his escape is now impossible. Unseen by the mercenaries, Lin Qian watches from the shadows, fully aware he's been cornered. He reflects on his frustrating days of guerrilla warfare, still unable to locate the hidden altar he seeks. His strategy involved using his mushrooms to incite conflict between local monsters and Lu Fang's team. But the mercenaries have adapted to his tricks, rendering his attempts to weaken them ineffective. He notes how the mercenaries' new formation, with pet masters and mags supporting the front line, has made them nearly invincible. Lu Fang sits confidently atop a pile of defeated goblins, knowing his team can clear the area as long as they avoid the goblin general. Lin Qian realizes his unique magical nature is helping him evade the tracking spell, but is still outmatched against the entire team. His frustration grows as he still can't find the altar, pinning his hopes on his mushroom sensitivity to spiritual energy. Suddenly, his mushroom companion has a brilliant idea, its excitement palpable. Lin Qian's hope is renewed as his mushroom confirms it has located the altar, signaling the final battle is near. Meanwhile, Sarah's tracking spell flares to life, a smirk crossing her face as she finally gets a lock on their target. The entire mercenary team turns, their hunt finally over as they spot Lin Qian in the distance. Lu Fang immediately deduces that Lin Qian has found the entrance to the tree realm and orders his team to move in. With grim resolve, he leads the charge, vowing that this time their target will not escape. Lin Qian smirks, accepting that has been discovered and that the final confrontation is about to begin. He decides he needs a massive diversion to even the odds. His mushroom allies begin to glow, preparing to incite every monster in the jungle. Their influence spreads like a plague, driving skeletal wolf riders into a frenzy. Beneath the colossal eucalyptus tree, the ground itself hums with latent energy. Lu orders his team to press forward, unaware of the glowing red eyes watching them from the shadows. A subordinate screams a warning as hordes of enraged monsters begin to pour out of the forest. Unfazed, Lu Fang orders his flank teams to engage the monsters while the main force continues the pursuit. His subordinates obey, clashing with monstrous bears and skeletal riders in a desperate attempt to hold the line. Lu Fang correctly deduces that Lin Qian isn't controlling the monsters, but rather using a toxin to drive them into a berserk rage. Lu Fang arrogantly dismisses his foe as a mere level 12 monster, convinced he has nothing left to fear. Meanwhile, his flank teams are locked in a desperate struggle, barely holding back the tide of enraged beasts. Suddenly, the ground itself erupts, unleashing a devastating new assault on the mercenaries. Lu Fang's confidence shatters as he realizes this must be Lin Qian's true trump card. The real threat reveals itself. The massive goblin general, the boss of the entire region, has joined the fray. One of Lu Fang's men recklessly charges the general, determined to test the limits of Lin Qian's plan. Sarah holds back the support team, certain that their leader can handle the monster boss on his own. Her focus remains on their true enemy, as her tracking spell indicates Lin Qian is now extremely close. She leads the main force in a mad dash, vowing to make Lin Qian pay for the threat he poses to her leader. Their destination is revealed, a glowing hidden altar nestled among the ancient roots of the eucalyptus tree. Lin Qian finally discovers the true entrance, realizing the colossal tree was just a cover for the hidden altar. He prepares to activate the portal, his body glowing with ancient runes he has long since mastered. His knowledge of ancient jungle script proves invaluable, allowing him to decipher the altar's controls. Just as he is about to act, his mushroom companion alerts him that the mercenaries have finally arrived. As the mercenaries launch their assault, Lin Qian gracefully deflects a volley of fiery projectiles. He lands squarely in the center of a glowing magic circle, realizing he's walked right into their trap. Unfazed by his predicament, he calmly assesses the magical energy surging around him. He identifies the complex spell as a dual-purpose trap designed to both immobilize and attack him. From the shadows, the mercenaries praise their mage, Sarah, for her incredible talent in trapping their foe. Sarah smirks with confidence, announcing that her gravity trap has successfully captured their target, leaving him no escape. Lin Qian acknowledges their strategy, admitting the dual binding magic is the perfect way to counter his agility. Yet he smirks with unnerving confidence, warning them that trapping him is one thing, but keeping him there is another. Sarah dismisses his bluff, rallying her team by reminding them he's just a level 13 monster, fully suppressed by her spell. She gathers her remaining power, challenging him to prove he has any tricks left to escape her final attack. Sarah unleashes a devastating magic flare blast, a concentrated beam of pure energy aimed directly at her helpless target. The massive explosion engulfs the altar, seemingly obliterating Lin Qian and ending the threat for good. But the scene cuts away to a smug grin, revealing that the battle's focus has shifted elsewhere. The camera pans to Lu Fang, who has just delivered a final decisive blow to the mighty goblin general. A system notification confirms his victory, rewarding him with massive experience and a level up to 16, unlocking a new profession. Lu Fang stands triumphantly over the defeated regional boss, having single-handedly eliminated the greatest monster threat in the area. Lu Fang postpones his class change, convinced his new level 16 strength is more than enough to crush Lin Qian. His triumphant mood vanishes as he realizes Sarah and the main assault team are missing. A cold dread washes over him as he curses, sensing his plan has gone horribly wrong. Back at the altar, Lin Qian emerges from the blast, his glowing eyes judging the attack as laughably weak. He stands completely unharmed, expressing his disappointment that the spell lacked any real intensity. Sarah realizes in horror that Lin Qian is using the altar's power to absorb her attacks, rendering them useless. But Lin Qian reveals he's doing more than just defending himself as the altar's magical interface begins to crack. With a sinister smile, he declares his intent to drain the ancient portal of all its power for himself. The magical seal shatters, revealing a swirling cosmic void that violently consumes the altar's energy. Sarah flees in terror, unable to comprehend how a non-mage could hijack and wield such powerful magic. The remaining mercenaries scatter in terror, fleeing the chaotic scene at the altar. Lu Fang realizes with fury that Sarah's containment barrier is collapsing, removing their only cage. The massive blue dome shatters into nothing, its powerful magic completely undone. His face contorts with rage, refusing to accept that his target is about to slip through his fingers once again. Lin Qian reveals his past, explaining he was the one who designed the very profession system the humans use. He recalls using this same ancient technology to ascend as a powerful warrior back when he was still human. Though his monster form prevents him from using warrior skills, he stands before the portal with a new plan. He smirks, knowing that as the system's creator, he can easily exploit their magic for his own ends. A mercenary's enchanted spear clatters to the ground, its magical light completely extinguished. Sarah and her mags collapse in despair, their magical reserves completely siphoned away, leaving them powerless. Lin Qian reveals his original plan was to let them destroy each other, but their chase has inspired a new strategy. He explains he can now use the powerless mercenaries to open the tree realm, a far more convenient outcome. Despite her weakness, Sarah glares defiantly, certain their leader and company will avenge them. Her comrades panic, blaming Lu Fang for their fate and begging Lin Qian for their lives. Lin Qian coldly dismisses their pleas, promising that he will eventually hunt down every last one of them. Elsewhere, Lu Fang remains confident, believing his mage team has Lin Qian successfully contained. A subordinate points out their target's proximity, then questions why the usually boisterous leader has fallen silent. Lu Fang's face twists with rage and denial as he finally realizes the horrifying truth of the situation. From the shadows, Lin Qian greets his rival, his glowing eyes filled with predatory amusement. Lu Fang arrives to a scene of defeat, finding Lin Qian waiting by the broken portal, ready for the final course of his feast. The remaining mercenaries reel in shock, unable to believe their mage leader was defeated by what they thought was a low-level monster. Lin Qian offers a chillingly calm reassurance, his predatory smile visible beneath his helmet. He promises that every single one of them will receive the same grim fate, sending a wave of terror through the group. Panic finally breaks their ranks as the mercenaries turn and flee for their lives. In a blur of motion, Lin Qian effortlessly cuts down the fleeing warriors, leaving no room for escape. He closes the distance on the remaining fighters, dispatching them with brutal, overwhelming force. Another mercenary is sent flying, his expression a mask of pain as Lu Fang watches in the background. Lin Qian lands gracefully, turning his attention to Lu Fang and questioning his inaction. To his surprise, he watches Lu Fang strike down one of his own fleeing subordinates. Lu Fang coldly justifies his actions, declaring that cowards who have lost the will to fight are useless to him. Lin Qian smirks, mockingly thanking Lu Fang for calling his own weak-willed subordinates. Lu Fang glares back, admitting he had gravely underestimated his former colleague's capabilities. Lin Qian taunts his rival, questioning why he isn't fleeing now that the path is clear. Lu Fang gestures to the open portal, retorting that with no barriers left, Lin Qian is the one who should be running. Unfazed, Lin Qian reveals he was waiting for this confrontation, ready to prove his strength without tricks. He lunges forward in a blur of motion, declaring that raw power is the only law that matters in this jungle. Lu Fang braces for impact, swinging his massive axe to meet the ferocious high-speed assault. Lin Qian recognizes the danger of a direct clash and decides to use a skill to avoid the powerful warrior's range. Lu Fang is left bewildered as his target vanishes into thin air, realizing he's up against an invisibility skill. Before he can react, Lin Qian reappears at his side, landing a swift and decisive blow from the blind spot. Lu Fang barely blocks the surprise attack, cursing the fact that Lin Qian's monster form has impossibly high defense. He decides his only chance is to overwhelm that defense sheer overwhelming speed. Lin Qian kicks off the ground ready to meet the incoming high-speed assault. Lu Fang unleashes a furious whirlwind of axe strikes, determined to break through with a rapid-fire attack. He puts all of his strength into the continuous barrage, his former blur of focused aggression. The air fills with the light of his countless swings as he relentlessly presses his attack. Through the storm of his own making, Lu Fang glares with defiance, challenging his opponent to withstand the onslaught. But Lin Qian effortlessly weaves through the flurry of strikes, making the warrior's desperate attack look clumsy. Lin Qian retreats into the air, acknowledging the terrifying power behind the level 16 warrior's assault. Lu Fang stands his ground, taunting his foe for simply evading the fight instead of facing him directly. Lin Qian exchanges a knowing glance with his mushroom companion, signaling a change in tactics. In a flash, Lu Fang finds himself completely swarmed by a horde of aggressive mushroom minions. The warrior struggles as the tiny creatures latch onto him, attempting to overwhelm him with a strange purple substance. From above, Lin Qian watches the resulting purple puddle, questioning if his surprise attack was successful. But Lu Fang erupts from the trap with a powerful swing of his axe, completely unharmed. He reveals an advanced purification gemstone, mocking the mushrooms as a pathetic trump card. The warrior admits he prepared this countermeasure after his archer's demise, narrowly avoiding the same fate. Lin Qian glares in frustration, realizing his mushroom swarm is completely ineffective against the prepared warrior. Lu Fang continues his taunts from the ground, challenging the airborne Lin Qian to stop running and face him. He calls his foe a coward, attempting to provoke Lin Qian into abandoning his aerial advantage for a direct clash. Lin Qian deftly dodges a storm of razor-sharp projectiles launched from the ground below. He hovers confidently, watching as Lu Fang prepares his next more calculated assault. Lu Fang activates his weapon mastery, gripping a heavy chain and vowing to drag his airborne enemy down. He unleashes his chained weapon with blinding speed, sending it hurtling towards the sky. Lin Qian realizes too late that the chain is a specialized tool designed to counter his aerial superiority. The enchanted chain ensnares him, binding his wings and neutralizing his greatest advantage. A flicker of frustration crosses Lin Qian's face as he's caught in the warrior's trap. Lu Fang yanks with immense strength, violently pulling his winged opponent from the sky. With his target grounded, Lu Fang lands a devastating blow, striking Lin Qian with brutal force. Though staggered, Lin Qian quickly regains his footing, already preparing to retaliate against the warrior's attack. Luo points to a fresh gash on his chest, a mark of his opponent's successful strike. Lin Qian smirks, satisfied that he has finally managed to break through the warrior's formidable defense. But Lu Fang mocks him, belittling the attack as a pathetic scratch after so much effort. His arrogance fades as green venomous veins spread across his skin, a sign that the wound was more than just a simple cut. Lin Qian reveals his true trump card, a new poison skill unlocked by the points he gained from defeating the other mercenaries. The warrior feels his strength rapidly draining, realizing this potent toxin is far deadlier than the mushroom spores. Believing this is Lin Qian's final gambit, Lu Fang prepares to counter by accessing his own hidden power through the system. Lin Qian watches in shock as Lu Fang is given the option to transfer his profession, a privilege he shouldn't have. The warrior explains that the company lifted the restriction after Lin Qian's departure, allowing him to access new classes like Paladin or Berserker. Realizing the immense threat this poses, Lin Qian desperately charges forward to stop the transformation before it's too late. But he's too late as the system confirms Lu Fang's successful and violent transformation into a Berserker. Lu Fang revels in his newfound power, his body surging with the raw energy of his new class. His transformation is complete, revealing a more muscular form and a fiery red aura of pure aggression. Lin Qian realizes with dread that the Berserker class has purged the poison, rendering his trump card useless. He knows this new form turns Lu Fang into a relentless killing machine, forcing him to reconsider the fight. Deciding the odds are now impossible, Lin Qian makes a split-second decision to flee the battle. But Lu Fang, now impossibly fast, cuts off his escape route, mocking his attempt to run away. Trapped with no way out, Lin Qian accepts that he has no choice but to face his powered-up rival head-on. The Berserker lunges with blinding speed, and Lin Qian realizes he's now outmatched in agility. Lu Fang brings his axe down with devastating force, aiming to end the fight with a single overwhelming blow. Lin Qian braces himself attempting to block the Berserker's devastating overhead strike. But Lu Fang's attack is just a feint, a blinding flash of light to disorient his opponent. Lin Qian quickly recovers searching for his foe only to find the warrior has vanished. The Berserker reappears directly above taunting him before bringing his axe down for the real attack. The ground shatters under the force of the blow, a testament to Lu Fang's newfound power. As the dust settles, it seems Lin Qian has been caught in the devastating impact. But he emerges from the crater, having caught the massive axe blade with his bare hands. The two rivals are locked in a brutal contest of strength, neither giving an inch. Lin Qian lands a piercing blow, but the Berserker's rage makes him seemingly immune to the pain. Realizing he's outmatched, Lin Qian trembles with the grim understanding that to fight a monster, Lu Fang has become one. Lin Qian's eyes glow with grim resolve as he makes a desperate choice. He decides to fully surrender his body to the monster within, unleashing its true power. Lu Fang pours every ounce of his Berserker rage into his axe, trying to overpower his foe. A massive shockwave of energy erupts from their clash, blasting Lin Qian backwards. The force of the blow sends Lin Qian hurtling through the air, seemingly defeated. But as Lu Fang catches his breath, he stares in disbelief at what he sees. Lin Qian reveals a terrifying new transformation, a monstrous form wielding two massive blades. He plummets back to the ground with devastating force, the very earth cracking under his impact. His new form crackles with untamed energy, a far more menacing presence than before. Lu Fang falls back in utter shock, wondering how many more trump cards his enemy could possibly have. Lin Qian's eyes burn with a cold green light signaling that the true monster has been awakened. He meets Lu Fang's axe with his own blade, but each strike only serves to fuel the Berserker's rage. The warrior grits his teeth, absorbing the onslaught and converting every blow into more power for himself. Lu relentlessly endures the assault, his rage meter climbing higher with each successful block. A system notification confirms the inevitable. The Berserker's rage has reached its absolute peak. Now at full power, Lu Fang unleashes a devastating counterattack, swinging his axe with all his might. The two titans clash in a blur of red and blue energy, their battle of attrition reaching a fever pitch. Beneath his monstrous visage, Lin Qian reveals a chilling smile, completely unfazed by the warrior's fury. Lu Fang screams with raw power, channeling every ounce of his being into one final decisive strike. Their ultimate attacks collide, unleashing a cataclysmic explosion that tears through the forest. The dust settles, revealing Lin Qian standing victorious as Lu Fang admits his foe is truly something else. With his last breath, the defeated warrior offers a look of grudging admiration for his rival. The Berserker's immense power finally fades, and Lu Fang's body begins to collapse. Lin Qian delivers the final decisive blow, ending their long and brutal rivalry for good. His monstrous form crackles with untamed energy, the undisputed victor of the jungle. The battle ends with both combatants falling, utterly spent from their cataclysmic clash. The scene shifts far away to the gleaming high-tech headquarters of Xinzhuang Technology. An executive fumes over the lack of contact from Lu Fang, berating his subordinate for the communication failure. A senior colleague steps in, calmly telling the angry executive to back off the nervous intern. Her expression turns grave as she delivers the bad news. She has finally located Lu Fang's signal. The executive demands to know the nature of this bad news. Back in the jungle, Lin Qian's monstrous form lies collapsed, the battle having taken its toll. He realizes his new power is unstable and that he must enter the tree realm to regain control. With the portal just steps away, he desperately drags his failing body forward. But his strength gives out, and he collapses just short of his goal. Suddenly, a system notification announces the completion of his quest and the activation of a reward store. A flicker of hope returns as he realizes the store might be his salvation. He immediately searches for an item to cure the mental instability caused by his transformation. With grim determination, he attempts to purchase the life-saving item, but his hope shatters as the system reveals he lacks the 500 points needed for the cure. His eyes glow with rage as the system confirms he has insufficient points for the cure, but a flicker of hope returns as he remembers the store's exchange function for battle trophies. The system scans the battlefield, identifying Lu Fang's fallen axe, armor, and gemstones as exchangeable items. With 1,200 points now available, he frantically confirms the exchange to purchase the life-saving potion. He briefly regrets not sorting through Lu Fang's rare loot, but knows he had no other choice. A system notification confirms the purchase is complete, presenting him with the glowing cure. Back at Xinzhuang headquarters, the two executives walk down a sterile red-lit corridor. The male executive reacts with disbelief upon hearing that someone has entered the tree realm. His colleague confirms a massive magic surge was detected, questioning why Lu Fang failed to report it. She gestures toward a sinister pulsating chamber, suggesting the incident may be connected to its contents. Inside the chamber, a massive rune-etched stone slab pulses with energy, the core of their portal technology. The executive demands to know how this high-tech project connects to Lu Fang's mission in the tree realm. A scientist explains that Lin Qian's disappearance has already caused an uproar, with players suspecting the company's secret plans. He reveals the company spent decades excavating 7 of these legendary stone slabs to harness their power. The female executive states their goal is to find the 4 missing slabs to understand the jungle's mysterious transformation. Now understanding the stakes, the male executive asks if they have any leads on the missing artifacts. She reveals her suspicion that one of the missing slabs is hidden within the very tree realm they sent Lu Fang to. While he sees this as a perfect opportunity, she worries that unforeseen changes put Lu Fang in grave danger. Deciding to take action, the executive prepares to leave, ordering her to keep him updated on the situation. The scene shifts back to the jungle, revealing the glowing blue portal has been successfully activated. Having entered the tree realm, Lin Qian finds his monstrous will has receded, and he has advanced to level 15. He realizes the potion he bought only treats the symptoms, and a true cure for his instability requires a rare item. He laments having to exchange all of Lu Fang's valuable loot just to afford the expensive temporary cure. Deciding to make the most of his situation, he begins to explore the other features of the system store. He discovers a convenient storage function and with 700 points remaining decides to browse for more upgrades. His eyes land on a powerful piece of chest armor that offers a significant boost to his defense. He considers how this armor would have made his fight against the powerful Lu Fang much easier. But his attempt to purchase the item is met with a glaring system error, insufficient balance. He erupts in frustration, realizing the armor costs more than all of Lu Fang's high-tier equipment combined. The reality of the store's outrageous prices leaves him stunned and comically horrified. A new mission appears on his system interface, tasking him with saving the Helen butterfly elves. The reward for this quest is jungle points and the chance to unlock a powerful B-rank skill panel. He contemplates the new powers he could gain, eager to see what a B-rank skill will offer. With renewed purpose, he resolves to conquer this new realm, sending a clear message to his former company. His loyal mushroom companion eagerly awaits its master's command. Lin Qian instructs his minions to erase all evidence of the recent battle before he departs. With his new objective set, he prepares to embark on his journey to the eucalyptus tree realm. The scene shifts to a different ancient-looking portal, glowing with a mysterious blue light. Elsewhere, a sacred fire burns as desperate voices call out for their prophet and savior. 2 robed winged figures pray before the flames, begging for their lord to come and rescue them. The sacred fire burns brightly, but the ritual yields no results. The winged elves despair, believing their prayers have failed once again. Their leader laments that despite years of devotion, their prophesied savior has not appeared. As she continues her prayer, a sudden cry of alarm shatters their solemn ritual. A scout flies in, warning the others that they've been discovered by goblin monsters. One of the elves is relentlessly pursued by two vicious goblins through the forest. The fleeing elf is quickly overpowered and pinned to the ground, completely at the goblin's mercy. The elf princess confronts the attackers, but they sneer, claiming a past treaty no longer protects them. With no other options, the elves turn back to the fire, pleading for a savior to rescue them. The goblins mock their faith, amused by their desperate belief in an ancient legend. The elves stare in awe as a figure emerges from the glowing portal, convinced their prophesied savior has finally answered their prayers. Unimpressed, the goblins scoff at their faith, dismissing the notion of a savior as complete nonsense. But before they can strike, a flash of golden energy slices through the air, shielding the defenseless elves. A winged-armored figure descends from the sky, effortlessly pinning a goblin underfoot with shocking speed. It's Lin Qian, now in a new powerful form, radiating an aura of calm authority. He stands over the defeated goblins, confused by their presence in what should be a peaceful realm. The elves watch with tearful joy, certain that their long-awaited lord has come to their rescue. Lin Qian, however, looks bewildered by their worship, having no idea why they are calling him their savior. Elsewhere in the Eucalyptus Tree Realm village, an elder elf scoffs, declaring that the savior is just a myth. But a younger elf passionately argues back, insisting their savior is real, having just emerged from the altar to save them. The elder elf scolds the younger ones for venturing into the dangerous goblin-infested territory. They explain their desperate search for medicine for a sick friend led them to the altar, where they found him instead. Still skeptical, the elder turns away, stubbornly refusing to accept that this stranger is their prophesied savior. The elves insist that since her own healing failed, Lin Qian is their last hope to save their friend, Jiji. Later, Lin Qian's intervention proves successful as the sick elf's condition has finally stabilized. He stands confidently as the elves express their disbelief at how effective his medicine was. Internally, Lin Qian sweats knowing it was just a system potion, and grows annoyed with the elder's lingering distrust. The elder reluctantly allows him to stay, but only until their friend has made a full recovery. The other elves, however, are completely won over, surrounding him with adoration and calling him their lord. Cutting through the praise, Lin Qian gets down to business, questioning them about the goblin occupation of their lands. An elf explains the goblins invaded years ago, but a pact made by their princess offered them protection. Lin Qian internally notes the elves' weakness, realizing their entire race is built for support, not combat. He recalls that his mission's true target is the princess of this very royal family who possesses the purest bloodline. He sits down with the elves, directly questioning them about the savior prophecy they believe in. The elves are baffled by his question, insisting that he is the very savior they are talking about. They quickly rationalize his amnesia, concluding he must be a reincarnation who has yet to regain his memories. Lin Qian is secretly amused by their simple-minded faith, realizing he can easily use it to his advantage. He plays along with a confident smirk, confirming he was summoned but only recalls his duty to protect them. The elves begin to recount the ancient legend of their savior, the clan's great benefactor from long ago. The scene transitions into a flashback, preparing to reveal the origins of their deeply held belief. The elves describe their own race as physically weak and helpless, but also kind-hearted and gentle. They begin the story of their people, explaining a great prophet rescued them from oppression long ago. This savior used immense power to create their secret realm, promising to return in their time of need. Lin Qian internally scoffs at the century-old legend, finding the elves' gullibility almost unbelievable. He questions their size. Learning a magical barrier at the realm's entrance shrinks all who enter. Shifting his focus, he gets down to the real threat, asking for details on the goblin invaders. His expression hardens as he presses for information on the enemy's numbers and power levels. The elves confirm his fears, explaining the goblins have overrun the realm and their numbers are vast. They reveal the goblin forces are led by level 15 generals and a terrifying level 20 king goblin. The situation seems dire as even their strongest warrior, the level 25 Lord Wei, was defeated by the goblin king. Lin Qian smirks, unimpressed by the goblins' overall strength despite their powerful king. The elves reveal their queen once threatened to seal the realm, trapping both races to die together. This desperate gambit led to a fragile truce with the princess, but the goblins continue to encroach on their land. Lin Qian correctly deduces the king goblin's true goal is to force the princess to perform a baptism on him. He understands this baptism is a rare ritual that allows monsters to break their level cap and evolve. The Helen butterfly elves are one of the few races capable of this ritual with the power boost depending on their bloodline's purity. With the queen having already used her one-time ability, the goblin king now targets the exceptionally talented princess. The elves weep, knowing that if the princess is forced into the ritual, it will bind her to the goblin king forever. Filled with resolve, Lin Qian vows to protect the princess, solidifying his role as their savior in the elves' eyes. But his true motive is revealed. The princess is his mission target, and he refuses to let the goblin king interfere. He internally cringes at the cliché plot, finding their savior narrative almost laughable. He cuts to the chase, asking for directions to the princess, and learns a teleportation array is the fastest route. The elves reveal a major obstacle. The teleportation array is controlled by the skeptical village chief. He formulates a plan realizing that earning the chief's trust is his first priority. Suddenly, a system alert flashes, warning him that an enemy has detected his presence and is approaching. The warning throws the elves into a panic while Lin Qian braces himself for the imminent threat. Through the window, they spot a winged goblin general flying directly towards their location. The elves mistake his system alert for prophecy, suggesting this fight could win over the skeptical chief. Seeing an opportunity, Lin Qian confidently leads the elves out to confront the approaching enemy. The scene shifts to the beautiful tree-bound village, setting the stage for the coming confrontation. The elves confront the goblin invaders, reminding them of the truce they have with the princess. The goblin general dismisses their plea, claiming he's here to eliminate an intruder he suspects is hiding among them. The elves fiercely defend Lin Qian, insisting he is their savior and not some random intruder. But the skeptical village chief appears, dismissing the legend and labeling Lin Qian as a mere outsider. She steps forward, authoritatively warning the goblin general to stay back and leave them be. The general scoffs at her authority, threatening to take Lin Qian by force if they won't hand him over. Before the goblin can act, Lin Qian moves in a blow, intercepting the general with a powerful kick. The blow sends the goblin leader flying, crashing hard against the ground with a massive impact. Lin Qian reveals himself, coolly stating that there was no need for the goblins to search for him. He smirks down at the defeated general, mocking his inability to withstand a single attack. The enraged goblin general rises, his eyes glowing with fury as he identifies his attacker. Lin Qian effortlessly evades the goblin's clumsy punch, showcasing his superior agility. A system notification reveals a 1,000 reward for this mission, giving him a new reason to fight. The goblin roars in frustration, launching himself forward for another furious assault. Lin Qian easily deflects the general's frantic attacks, remaining completely untouched by the onslaught. He internally compares the goblin's strength to Lu Fang's, finding it laughably inferior. Frustrated by his opponent's defense, the goblin general unleashes a wave of red energy in a desperate power-up. Lin calmly blocks the powered-up strike, the immense power gap between them now undeniable. He smirks coolly, taunting the goblin for losing its composure so easily. Deciding he's had enough fun, Lin Qian prepares to end the one-sided confrontation for good. Lin Qian's blade effortlessly halts the goblin's bone club, the impact shocking the general. The goblin's face contorts in terror as he realizes the sheer difference in their power. With a confident smirk, Lin Qian boasts that this fight will be over in just 3 moves. But his confidence wavers as a sudden wave of pain signals the return of his monstrous instability. The goblin general's fear turns to cunning as he senses his opponent's sudden weakness. Seizing the opportunity, the goblin lunges forward, believing this is his chance to strike back. Lin Qian grimaces, realizing the after effects of his transformation are flaring up mid-battle. He remembers the potion was only a temporary fix, merely suppressing the monster within, not curing it. He clutches his head in agony as the unstable power threatens to overwhelm him once more. The goblin general presses his advantage, mocking Lin Qian's struggle in his supposed role as savior. He grits his teeth, realizing he needs the elf's purification to suppress the monster and win the chief's trust. The goblin general presses his attack, but Lin Qian continues to evade with surprising speed. But the unstable power surges, causing Lin Qian to cry out as he begins to lose control. The goblin leader halts his attack, sensing a dangerous shift in his opponent's energy. Lin Qian is now on the back foot, struggling to parry the goblin's relentless blows. He internally panics, wondering why the elves aren't intervening to purify him as his will begins to fade. The village chief misinterprets the dark aura as a lack of skill while the other elves cheer on their savior. His frustration grows as his plan to get the elves to help him has clearly backfired. It's too late. The monster within erupts, his body twisting as dark energy consumes him completely. The once confident goblin general now stares in sheer terror, completely bewildered by this horrifying transformation. The monster within fully awakens, its mind consumed by singular destructive thought. The goblin general's own system flashes a dire warning as pure terror grips him. A blur of red energy slams into the ground as the berserk Lin Qian launches his attack. The goblin is instantly overwhelmed, caught in a whirlwind of unstoppable furious slashes. In a cowardly move, the corner general grabs a helpless elf, threatening to end her life. The monster's crimson eyes narrow with rage, its focus now locked on the desperate goblin. The village chief watches in horror, finally realizing the true danger they are all in. But a flicker of Lin Qian's true self fights back, refusing to endanger the innocent elf. The general seizes this moment of hesitation, unleashing a powerful counterattack of his own. The elves cry out in despair, their faith in their savior now hanging by a thread. The goblin general unleashes a massive ice attack, but the elves continue to cheer for their lord. Lin Qian internally fumes at their uselessness, realizing why their race is so easily oppressed. The goblin taunts him, urging him to continue the fight, clearly enjoying his opponent's struggle. He brings his club down for a final devastating blow as the elves cry out for their savior. But the attack is stopped just inches from its target by an unexpected intervention. The elf hostage bravely steps forward, conjuring a protective shield to defend her struggling lord. Enraged by this defiance, the goblin general orders his minions to swarm the other elves. A horde of smaller goblins charges forward, eager to carry out their leader's command. Finally taking action, the elves begin a sacred purification dance, filling the air with golden light. The purifying energy washes over Lin Qian, stabilizing his form and restoring his control. With his power stabilized, Lin Qian unleashes a flurry of attacks, instantly neutralizing the goblin minions. The goblin general roars in fury as his entire squad is effortlessly wiped out before his eyes. He smirks, believing this display of power has finally earned him the chief's trust, ending the game. Now backed by the empowered elves, he taunts the goblin, ready to unleash their collective wrath. The goblin general's bravado shatters, replaced by pure terror as he faces their combined might. In a flash of light, Lin Qian cuts down the terrified general, ending the fight in a single decisive strike. The elves erupt in joyous cheers, their faith in their Lord Savior completely solidified by the victory. A system notification confirms his success, awarding him 1,000 points for defeating the general. He feels the elves' amplification skills surge through him, realizing the buff has nearly doubled his attack power. His eyes glow with newfound energy as he fully absorbs the powerful enhancement from his new allies. The immense power fades and Lin Qian collapses from the strain of the battle as the elves cheer for their savior. He awakens to the concerned faces of the elves who are desperately trying to rouse their lord. The village chief dismisses the fawning elves, ordering them to give their resting savior some space. Now alone, the chief advises him to rest, her tone softening slightly despite her lingering skepticism. Her expression turns grave as she reveals a terrifying discovery. A foreign power within him is slowly consuming his life force. Lin Qian's eyes narrow as he processes her grim warning, realizing the true nature of his unstable power. She explains that even if he masters this power, it will inevitably shorten his life, a price for its immense strength. He recalls the origin of his power, the legendary stone slab, a desperate measure he took with unpredictable consequences. He now understands the monstrous will was just a symptom of a much deeper, life-threatening problem. With new resolve, he realizes his only hope for a cure lies in finding the 4 missing stone slabs and taking them from his former company. The chief bluntly tells Lin she knows is not the savior, as she never believed in the legend. However, she saw his good character in battle and offers him a path to become their true savior by defeating the Goblin King. Lin Qian internally smirks at her naivety towards human cunning, agreeing to her terms to gain the royal family's help. The chief strikes a deal, offering to take him to the queen if he swears to protect their clan. He confidently accepts, already calculating how his intellect and their power will easily overcome the Goblin King. With their agreement sealed, the village chief leads him toward the next stage of his plan. They arrive at a teleportation array, the gateway to the palace and the heart of the elven kingdom. A friendly elf explains the chief's high status as the princess's teacher, guaranteeing Lin an audience. Lin Qian files this information away, finally understanding the source of the chief's sharp intellect. The chief activates the array, bathing the platform in purple light as they prepare to teleport to the eucalyptus tree palace. The teleportation array whisks them away in a brilliant flash of light across the realm. In an instant, they vanish from the village, leaving only fading energy in their wake. They arrive at their destination, the magnificent Helen Butterfly Palace nestled high in the trees. Lin Qian, the chief, and their companion materialize on the palace's grand teleportation platform. 2 royal guards react with alarm, surprised by the chief's sudden arrival and fearing a goblin invasion. The chief calmly announces she has brought someone to see the princess while her companion proudly presents their savior. The guards are stunned into silence, their shock giving way to awe at the mention of the legendary figure. A regal figure steps forward, her voice calm as she acknowledges the title he now carries. The chief confirms the legend, explaining how Lin Qian appeared at the altar to repel the goblin attack. Lin Qian's eyes narrow, recognizing the woman before him as his true target, Princess Helen Butterfly. The princess welcomes him as his system updates with a new mission, win her heart for 3,000 points. He is internally baffled by the romantic objective but can't deny the generous reward. Playing his part, Lin Qian bows respectfully, vowing to defend her clan and drive away their enemies. He smirks to himself thinking the seemingly innocent princess will make for an easy 3,000 points. The princess dismisses the chief to collect a reward, but the elder hesitates trying to warn her. Brushing off the concern, the princess cheerfully promises to take excellent care of their savior. She turns her full attention to Lin Qian, asking how she could possibly repay him for his deeds. Before he can answer, she moves in close, her intentions becoming surprisingly forward. He's caught completely off guard as she embraces him, realizing the situation is escalating far too quickly. Her expression shifts, revealing her plan to use her charms to secure his loyalty through seduction. He's instantly overwhelmed and collapses, realizing her sweet demeanor was just a clever act. The princess internally confirms her suspicions, having seen through his savior guise from the start. She stands over him as he comes to, her friendly facade completely gone. Lin Qian awakens to a shocking new reality, his plan having gone terribly wrong. Now bound and helpless, he faces an enraged princess who demands to know his true identity. She scoffs at his savior's story, revealing she never believed in the legend and sees him as a liar. Her patience wearing thin, the princess threatens to end him as he desperately tries to use the chief as an alibi. The princess remains unconvinced, believing her trusted teacher was simply fooled by his act. Realizing words won't work, Lin Qian decides a more direct approach is needed to de-escalate the situation. With a burst of speed, he shatters his restraints and turns the tables, easily overpowering the stunned princess. His hand transforms, sharp claws digging into the bed as he holds her down. The princess cries out in shock, completely overpowered by his sudden move. He smirks, confirming his suspicion that her entire clan is utterly defenseless in a fight. In a panic, she desperately calls out for her father to save her. Her cry throws him off completely, leaving him flustered and embarrassed by the misunderstanding. Suddenly, his jungle instincts scream danger as a powerful presence enters the room. A brilliant beam of energy slices through the air, forcing him to leap out of the way. Landing gracefully, he wonders if another powerful warrior from her clan has arrived. The princess looks past him with relief as a figure materializes to protect her. Lin Qian breaks into a nervous sweat, realizing he just assaulted the daughter of the clan's king. Lin Qian dodges the attack, recognizing the fighting style as belonging to the queen's husband, Wei. He notes his system hasn't registered the attacker as an enemy, confirming he's not a hostile target. Unable to harm the king, Lin Qian decides he must use the princess's bait to force a confrontation. With a new plan in mind, he turns back towards the princess, ready to put his risky gambit into motion. But his path is blocked by the swift arrival of a powerful male elf who stands guard before the princess. The warrior's expression shifts to shock, taken aback by Lin Qian's audacity. The royal family stands united as the level 25 Prince Wei confronts Lin Qian, accusing him of being a fraudulent savior. Lin Qian grits his teeth, realizing this mission is far more complicated than he anticipated. He internally curses his luck, admitting he was completely outplayed by the princess's clever deception. Now he finds himself on the run, pursued through the palace by the incredibly powerful elven prince. Lin Qian attempts a stealthy escape, baffled by how a supposedly weak Helen butterfly warrior can be so skilled. The furious prince declares that stealth is useless, mocking Lin for underestimating their warriors. He realizes his stealth is ineffective against magical creatures and that the prince's power is abnormally high for his race. The two warriors clash as the prince effortlessly blocks Lin Qian's blade with his own powerful sword. The princess reveals her father wields a blessing from the queen, combining the power of two level 20 elves. More royal guards appear in a flash, swiftly moving to cut off any potential escape routes. Now surrounded, Lin Qian internally questions why the village chief failed to mention this level of security. The elven prince hovers above, ordering his guards to capture the cornered intruder immediately. A confident smirk crosses his face as he accepts that a simple escape is no longer an option. With new resolve, he decides he'll have to use force to fight his way out of the palace. Lin Qian braces himself on the ground, daring the elven prince to attack. The two warriors collide in a blur of motion, their blades creating a brilliant flash of light. Prince Wei presses his assault, his powerful wings giving him incredible speed and agility. The force of their clash sends Lin Qian hurtling backward, smashing through a palace door. Catching his breath, Lin Qian realizes he severely underestimated the prince's power. He notices the princess is providing support from the sidelines, casting a glowing blue buff. The prince's power surges under the enhancement, though he admits it's not enough to match the Goblin King. Lin Qian is utterly flabbergasted, realizing the prince is being constantly buffed by the princess. Suddenly, a new system notification flashes, alerting him to the discovery of a system fragment. He connects the dots, realizing this fragment is one of the legendary stone slabs he needs to find. Lin Qian makes a break for it, leading the furious prince on a high-speed chase through the elven kingdom. The prince refuses to let him get away, his expression hardening with resolve as he closes the distance. He realizes Lin Qian isn't escaping but heading towards a forbidden area, a place restricted to the royal family. Lin Qian's gamble pays off as he finds exactly what he was looking for, one of the legendary stone slabs. The prince deduces that Lin Qian shares the same goal as the Goblin King, to claim the sacred relic. Undeterred by the prince's warning, Lin Qian calmly walks straight through a powerful magical barrier. The prince watches in disbelief as the intruder passes through the ancient defenses without any resistance. He reaches out, his hand making contact with the glowing surface of the mysterious system fragment. A system alert confirms his success, unlocking a new skill panel and transporting him to a place called the Jungle Hall. He materializes inside a vast empty chamber, recognizing it as a domain but questioning its strange desolate state. A system notification details the Jungle Hall's purpose, a spiritual sanctuary for rapid recovery outside of combat. He realizes this domain is a personal restoration station, then eagerly turns his attention to his newly unlocked skills. The system reveals a host of new abilities, including an advanced skill to turn defeated enemies into loyal servants. A cunning smirk spreads across his face as he imagines building an army from the souls of his fallen opponents. Without hesitation, he activates the powerful egg nest skill to test its capabilities. The desolate hall responds to his command, the very air crackling with newly summoned energy. Glowing pods emerge from the floor, revealing the preserved forms of the elite enemies he has previously vanquished. The system presents him with a choice, offering the souls of his past foes as potential servants. He scoffs at the limitation, wanting to claim them all, only to be told he lacks the required points. Realizing there's no such thing as a free lunch, he decides to start by resurrecting the strongest soul available. He selects his old rival Lu Fang, spending 1,200 points to resurrect him as a loyal servant. The system confirms the purchase, draining his points but securing his first powerful subordinate. He considers the steep price a worthy investment for the long-term combat power he's just gained. With a commanding gesture, he summons his newly acquired servant from its stasis pod. He initiates the hatching sequence, pouring energy into the pod to bring his new warrior to life. Blue energy crackles and solidifies, reforming the powerful physique of his old adversary, Lu Fang. He smirks, sensing his complete control over the resurrected warrior, who retains all his former strength minus his equipment. The newly formed servant kneels in submission, pledging his undying loyalty to his new master. Feeling immensely confident, he believes he no longer needs to worry about the elven prince waiting for him outside. He briefly worries about becoming a monster but dismisses the thought, eager to test his new servant's power in the real world. He steps back into the real world, emerging from the domain with his new servant ready. Prince Wei stands waiting, surprised by his sudden return and noting the elves didn't attack him. The entire elven clan now kneels before him, hailing him as their long-awaited prophet. Lin Qian is taken aback by the sudden shift, awkwardly accepting his new title as their savior. The scene transitions to a grand feast inside the palace, the previous hostility now forgotten. The elves challenge him to a drinking contest, eager to celebrate with their new hero. He drinks alongside Prince Wei, internally suspecting they are trying to test his tolerance with their strong wine. The prince apologizes for the earlier misunderstanding while Lin Qian drops the savior act, admitting the truth. The prince reveals the village chief had already told them everything, confirming the previous fight was merely a test. He explains his true motive was a desire to spar as a martial arts enthusiast eager to face a worthy opponent. The prince slams his mug down, admitting his true intention was to test Lin Qian's strength all along. The queen elaborates, revealing they needed to confirm he possessed the power to truly aid their people. She explains his recognition by the prophet's relic was the ultimate proof, solidifying his status in their eyes. Now that the air is cleared, Lin Qian presses for more details about this mysterious prophet and the sacred tablets. They recount the legend of the prophet who created their realm and left a prophecy of his return in their time of need. He connects the dots, realizing the prophet's legend is tied to the very stone slabs his former company sought. He questions why the elves can't access the tablet, learning ancient restrictions prevent them from even approaching it. The revelation that another outsider sought the tablet stuns him, raising fears of rival factions. The queen's grave expression reveals the identity of the other seeker, the terrifying Goblin King. Lin Qian is stunned, finally understanding the Goblin King's true objective was to seize the sacred relic. The queen explains that her clan sealed the 7 passages to their realm a century ago, isolating themselves. She reveals an exception was made for her husband, a martial arts fanatic, making the royal family the sole gatekeepers to the outside world. Years ago, they mistakenly welcomed the Goblin King, believing him to be the legendary prophet. But the sacred stone tablet violently rejected the goblin, striking him down with immense power. On the verge of death, the Goblin King revealed his dark magic, draining the life from palace maids to heal himself. Lin Qian is shocked, realizing this Goblin King wields a sinister life-stealing ability unheard of for his kind. The queen admits that even with their combined strength, she and the prince were unable to defeat the malevolent king. Lin Qian's expression hardens, deducing the Goblin King's power is linked to the slab and vowing to capture him for answers. She explains the Goblin King then took over, forcing them to open the altars and let his clan invade their home. Lin Qian boldly declares his intention to join forces with the prince, confident their combined power can defeat the Goblin King. He devises a new plan, receive the royal baptism to combine its power with his monster will and defeat the Goblin King. But Prince Wei vehemently rejects the proposal, slamming his fist on the table in defiance. The princess stubbornly refuses as well, crossing her arms as Lin Qian questions her trust in him. She angrily insists there's no reason for her refusal, her frustration boiling over. Two other elves intervene, explaining the baptism is a once-in-a-lifetime ritual reserved for a life partner. The prince smirks, enjoying the revelation that the powerful ritual is tied to marriage. The princess confirms the baptism is a lifelong vow, declaring she'll never perform it for a foreigner she doesn't trust. Lin Qian realizes he must become the clan's son-in-law, a path the princess has firmly blocked. Suddenly, a royal guard bursts into the hall with an urgent message for the queen. The guard announces that the Goblin King has breached their defenses and is now advancing on the palace. The prince is stunned as the queen reveals the Goblin King is breaking their truce, suspecting he knows the princess can now perform the baptism. The royal family speculates the Goblin King's sudden aggression is due to him learning of the prophet's arrival. The prince explains their magical formations should hold the enemy at bay for a few more days, but the news is still dire. Lin Qian interjects, urging them to set aside their noble traditions in the face of this imminent threat. The princess's demeanor softens, inviting the Lord Prophet to state his plan. He proposes a temporary baptism, a partnership that will dissolve after they defeat the Goblin King together. The queen agrees to the emergency measure, though she warns the required spiritual connection might fail. After some hesitation, the princess reluctantly agrees to the plan, seeing it as a way to make amends for her earlier mistakes. Lin Qian smirks, confident that their combined power, along with his resurrected servant, makes victory inevitable. Elsewhere, a mysterious hooded figure wonders if this newcomer is truly the reincarnation of the legendary prophet. News of a bonding ceremony spreads, much to the princess's irritation and the other elves' delight. Lin Qian, dressed for the occasion, notes the strangely festive atmosphere of the supposed baptism. The princess is horrified to find herself in a wedding gown, realizing this formality is far more serious. Meanwhile, the elven onlookers are overjoyed, thrilled by the prospect of a royal wedding. The queen begins the ceremony, officially welcoming Lin Qian as the clan's son-in-law before the prophet's statue. Impatient with the lengthy proceedings, the princess urges them to skip the pleasantries and get to the baptism. The elven priestesses close their eyes and begin the sacred chant, initiating the ancient ritual. Lin Qian takes his place at the center of a glowing magical array as the ceremony officially commences. The princess levitates, bathed in a brilliant golden aura as she channels the power of the baptism. He feels a warm, powerful current wash over him, absorbing the immense energy of the sacred ritual. The baptism forces their minds to connect, revealing the princess's desperate prayers for a savior. In return, she witnesses his memories of brutal combat, seeing the hardened warrior he truly is. The queen and the chief watch in horror, realizing the ritual is not proceeding as planned. From above, it's clear their spiritual energies are not merging, dooming the baptism to failure. Both participants cry out in agony as the forced connection causes a painful psychic backlash. Lin Qian's monstrous power erupts, overwhelming the sacred energy and violently severing their link. The princess is thrown back from the force, caught by her father as the ceremony collapses into chaos. As they recover, the princess confirms their fears. The ritual failed just as she suspected it might. The queen resigns herself to a grim fate, believing their clan is now doomed to perish. Lin Qian stares at his hand in disbelief while the queen tells him not to blame himself for the expected failure. The prince explains the ritual requires a true bond, but Lin Qian concludes that if it's impossible, then is not their destined savior. The queen reveals the prophet's double-edged gift, safety in the tree realm but at the cost of the clan's strength. Lin Qian looks puzzled, suspecting their interpretation of salvation might be entirely wrong. In a desperate plea, the royal couple kneels, begging him to lead their people back into the jungle to ensure their survival. He questions their sacrificial strategy, demanding to know what fate they have chosen for themselves. The queen declares with grim resolve that she and the prince will stay behind to face the Goblin King in a final stand. Lin Qian immediately shuts down their plan, refusing to accept their self-sacrifice as a viable option. The queen argues that his current power is no match for the Goblin King, believing their only hope is for him to lead an evacuation. He calmly suggests another way, internally realizing that defeating the Goblin King is the only path that benefits them both. The elven royals listen with cautious hope, waiting to hear the alternative he has in mind. He smirks, realizing that gaining the princess's approval is the key, officially launching his plan to win her over. The scene shifts to the tranquil forest garden, where the princess sits alone on a swing contemplating her fate. She scoffs in annoyance, clearly displeased with the turn of events. Her contemplation is broken by a sudden shower of petals, causing her to look up in surprise. He makes his grand entrance presenting her with a rose and a charming smile. He strikes a suave pose, inquiring if there's anything troubling her, but his attempt at romance falls flat. His romantic gesture completely backfires, causing her favorability to plummet with visible irritation. He panics internally, realizing that romantic cliches from TV shows don't work in the real world. Unbeknownst to them, the Queen and Prince watch from a distance, with the Queen misinterpreting the scene as romantic. Despite the rocky start, they now stand together against the sunset, creating a deceptively romantic tableau for their audience. The princess rejects his words, declaring she'll never trust a foreigner, while Lin Qian calmly tries to reason with her. She dismisses him, pointing out that without the baptism's power, he's useless as a savior. A confident smirk crosses his face as he hints at another untested source of power he possesses. The princess is startled by his sudden change in demeanor, warily questioning his intentions. In a flash of movement, he grabs the princess and makes a swift exit from the garden. Back in the throne room, the queen inquires about the status of their evacuation plan. The chief reports that the clan is ready to flee, but still holds out hope that Lin Qian and the princess can complete the ritual. A guard bursts in with frantic news, announcing the prophet has taken the princess hostage and teleported into enemy territory. The king and queen are left stunned and horrified by the shocking turn of events. The scene reveals the princess lying incapacitated, confirming Lin Qian used force to enact his desperate plan. He silences the frantic princess, demanding she keep her voice down as he reveals his true intentions. They've teleported directly into a goblin encampment, a move Lin Qian claims was entirely intentional. The princess is horrified by his reckless plan, but he simply reminds her of her earlier challenge. He smirks, realizing that a demonstration of power against the goblins is the only way to win her trust. Declaring his intent to test the Goblin King's strength, he leaps into action, leaving her stunned. A formidable general goblin appears, and his system immediately marks the creature as a high-value target. Lin Qian calculates the 1,000 reward, seeing it as a perfect opportunity to expand his arsenal. The princess, finally trusting him, begs him to retreat, but he calmly states he won't be fighting alone. With a confident gesture, he announces that he'll let his servant handle the initial assault. He summons a massive glowing egg, preparing to unleash his newly resurrected warrior upon the unsuspecting goblins. Goblins? The princess questions his abilities as he internally wonders if his resurrected servant still has what it takes. He confidently orders his new subordinate to prove his worth by taking down the general goblin. The resurrected Lu Fang emerges, his eyes glowing red as he accepts his master's command. Meanwhile, the unsuspecting goblin general yawns, completely oblivious to the approaching danger. Lu Fang crashes into the goblin camp like a whirlwind, catching the enemy completely by surprise. The servant immediately confronts the general goblin, who readies his massive axe for a fight. Watching from afar, Lin Qian realizes with a jolt that his servant's actions are draining his own stamina. He understands that any damage his servant takes, he will also feel, though he also has full sensory control. A crucial observation dawns on him. His resurrected servant is not as strong as he was in his past life. The reality of this weakness becomes clear as Lu Fang struggles to hold his ground against the powerful goblin. He observes the ongoing battle, concluding the current ruckus is insufficient to lure out the Goblin King. Turning to the princess, he announces he will join the fight personally. Alright, that's the end of the story. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.